So as your brain starts relaxing, first your prefrontal cortex, which is your active brain, starts to shut down. Primitive part of your brain starts getting more activated. That happens in deep sleep. Then all your old memories start coming out. That is when we start dreaming. Coffee has caffeine in it, and caffeine directly affects a chemical in the brain called adenosine. Adenosine is supposed to send you a feedback signal. So this is something that I do a lot. In fact, this is very commonly said as counting sheep. If you remember, in the Western countries, they talk about this a lot. So a lot of comic books and a lot of storybooks talk about this. So there are hormones in our body that go up in the morning, come down in the evening, sometimes go up again at night. So there is a 24-hour cycle that happens in all our body. If we are awake at night and if there is a lot of light hitting your eye, your brain can get confused. And so that circadian rhythm ka hormones can get up and down. And that can have problems over a long term. You are sleeping at 4 a.m., waking up at 12. It can lead to anxiety, autoimmune conditions, inflammatory problems over a period of time.
So we all focus on diet and exercise, but latest research in science today says something very clear. Sleep controls everything. It's the base. If your sleep is weak, your training, your food, your mood, everything suffers. Hi, I'm Adil Qayyum. I'm a wellness mentor, entrepreneur. For almost a decade now, I've been helping people experience genuine well-being. And it brings me divine happiness, and I hold this work with a lot of gratitude. And today, we're going to talk about the most misunderstood and I think the most neglected part of the health, sleep. With me is Dr. Sid Warrier, a neurologist from Mumbai who has been trained and certified at some of the best medical institutions in India and UK. He has treated thousands of patients, spent years studying how the brain works, and he is also known for breaking down complex neuroscience into simple, practical ideas through his social media presence. Dr. Sid, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start with something very simple. What does this good sleep actually mean? Because most people think they're sleeping or they're sleeping 8 hours or 4 hours, but are they actually sleeping good? Please help me understand this.
Great question. So most people in today's time, they will think that sleep is something that they should do at the end of the day after everything else is done.
True.
ठीक है, उनके priority list में everything else will be there. Sleep is an afterthought.
100%.
So you will come back from work, then you'll open your laptop, do some work, you will scroll on your bed until 12:31 and you will sleep when you are tired. जब आँख खुलती नहीं है, right? That sleep is not good sleep because then they have to wake up early again in the morning and then their day starts again. Good sleep is when you get enough sleep cycles. Okay. So I'll tell you the concept of sleep cycle. When you sleep, your brain goes through 4 to 5 sleep cycles, each of which lasts for around 60 minutes. 60 to 90 minutes.
Okay.
तो आप पकड़ लो अगर समझो if you want to do 4 sleep cycles, each of 90 minutes, that is around 6 to 8 hours.
Yes.
So you need 6 to 8 hours
100%.
and you need 4 to 5 good sleep cycles.
Okay.
If your brain is stressed out when you go to sleep, you will not be able to complete 4 to 5 sleep cycles. So that is bad sleep.
Okay.
Good sleep is when you're able to complete 4 to 5 sleep cycles.
So you mean like the moment your brain is stressed, you're not able to cover all the sleep cycles, even though you have actually slept all.
Yes.
What does stress have to do with sleep cycle? And this sleep cycle is very complex. What does cycle mean? And why only 90 minutes?
So when your brain shuts down during sleep, there are different, think of it like a staircase. Okay. You are going down. So sleep is like going down a staircase. So there's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Level 4 is deep sleep.
Okay.
So one sleep cycle is when your brain goes from level 1 to level 4 and then back to level 1.
Okay.
And then again down to level 4 and then back to level 1.
Okay.
So like that, you have to go up and down 4 to 5 times because different things happen in the brain at different sleep levels.
Got it.
So as your brain starts relaxing, first your prefrontal cortex, which is your active brain, starts to shut down.
Okay.
You stop thinking logically, rationally. Then the primitive part of your brain starts getting more activated. That happens in deep sleep.
Okay.
Then all your old memories start coming out. that is when we start
Dreaming, yes.
and random ideas start connecting to each other. All that happens in deep sleep, which is why if you've learned something useful today, your brain will store that during sleep. So if your brain is not reaching deep sleep, you may wake up tomorrow and you may not remember things from today.
Okay.
Which is why students who study a lot,
they're supposed to sleep before the exam.
Yes. Otherwise, there's no point.
There's no retention.
Right? So many people these days say that they have memory loss, brain fog, kuch yaad nahi aa raha hai. All that is because of poor sleep.
Oh, great. That makes me remember that building muscle or losing fat or all the metabolic functions we have, we generally think, oh, if I had to lose fat or if I had to make muscle, I should eat well or do so many things. But essentially, all the muscle building, fat loss, everything happens when we are sleeping. And when you have a good quality sleep, that's when all the things get sorted.
Exactly.
Make sense?
Yes.
Right. So Dr. Sid, you mentioned that when we are stressed or when we have anxiety, it affects the sleep cycle. And especially the latter case you mentioned. Can you please help me understand what's happening here?
Sure. So imagine level 0 is when you're awake. Right? And level 1, 2, 3, 4, you go
it's
down.
Like deep sleep, yes.
What if there is level +1, +2, +3?
Okay.
The more anxious you are, the more stressed you are going up the staircase. So
now you had to have a longer distance to go down. Yes.
So suppose you hit the bed, right? And you are in +5. Now you have to come from +5 to 0, and then you have to go to -1, -2, -3.
Oh.
So sleep happens when you go down the ladder, and stress is when you go up the staircase. So you need to be at 0 when you hit the bed, ideally. Okay.
And what things will help me to get at 0? How can I get to be at 0?
So I'll tell you what are the things that we do which speed us up or take us up the staircase.
Okay.
So every time you're thinking about work or you're thinking about things that you have to do the next day,
mind is constantly running in the background.
Correct. You are overthinking, you are ruminating, you are worrying about boss ne kya bola, mujhe kal kya karna hai. All these things are taking us up the staircase.
Okay.
If you are even scrolling, people think scrolling means relaxation. But the more you are scrolling, you are actually going up
the staircase. Exactly.
So it is going to take you harder, like it's going to take you longer to come down the staircase and go to sleep. So I always use this analogy that if you are driving a car and say if you want to park and if you're driving at 100 kilometers an hour, you
have to go slow.
Exactly.
Yes.
Slow down,
yes.
Relax, ease into your parking spot and then shut off the engine. Right? You won't directly come and stop at your parking spot.
Exactly. Makes so much sense. It reminds me of my job days when I used to work in corporate. And every time, so I had this shift from morning 9 to 6, and then I would get tired, and in the evening, I would just use mobile and watch videos, etc. And somehow by around 11, 12, 1, I would be super tired, and then I would fall asleep. What was interesting was when I would wake up, I would feel as if I have not slept properly. I would not have energy. Although I would go to gym kind of here and there, but I would not be so fresh, etc. But in the evenings, I would feel a little fresher. First of all, what's happening here? Why am I not having a good morning? And how can I have a good morning?
So this is what crashing is. People keep saying, right?
They crash. Oh yes.
I'm going to
crash. Yes.
So crash is a bad thing. In any situation, crash is a bad thing. You don't want to crash when you're driving.
Yes.
You don't want to crash when you're
makes
sleeping.
Makes sense.
Right?
Makes sense.
So
yeah.
don't crash.
Don't crash.
Go to sleep. Don't crash. So crashing happens when you tire yourself out and your body just shuts off. But if your phone did that or your laptop did that, you will know that something is wrong.
Yeah, back in the days when this Windows laptop would shut down, all of a sudden we would lose all the work.
Correct.
Oh, interesting.
That's what happens.
Makes sense.
So you want to save all your files or manually shut down your computer. That's when you know that your computer is safe. You should do the same thing to your body.
Oh, that makes so much. That's where you should not use the mobile and so many other things come into picture. Interesting. That makes sense. It reminds me nowadays, whenever I go out, people say like chai piyoge, coffee piyoge, whatever. And the idea of coffee has become so prevalent now in the society. Coffee piyenge. How does coffee affect my sleep? Is there any relation between coffee or any eating food late in the night?
There is a big relation actually. So let's talk about coffee first.
Yeah, there's so much to cover. Yes.
Yes, so coffee has caffeine in it.
Okay.
And caffeine directly affects a chemical in the brain called adenosine.
Adenosine.
Yeah. So think of adenosine as this chemical that builds up over the day as you keep working.
Okay.
Just say now we are shooting, adenosine is building up in our brains. Now, over a period of time, once there is enough adenosine, you'll start feeling sleepy. So the more adenosine is there in the brain, the sleepier you get. Coffee blocks adenosine. So when you drink coffee,
there is no adenosine.
There is adenosine, but adenosine is not able to act.
Oh, the receptors are blocked.
Yes, the receptors are blocked. So in a way that's good because now you can focus, but in a way it's bad.
You are getting it at the cost of something else.
Yes. How do you know that you should rest or not?
Yes.
Adenosine is supposed to send you a feedback signal that listen, you are stressed out, you should sleep. But now you're blocking that signal. So you might think I'm very alert, I'm active. But coffee can, prevent your body from telling you that important signal. That's why coffee has to be taken very carefully. You should probably not have coffee in the evening because coffee's action takes around 8 hours or lasts around 8 hours. So suppose if you take coffee at 4 p.m., right? So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So till 12, you may not feel sleepy.
Because your body is blocking the receptors.
Yes.
Interesting. You just use the word important, and that made me remind, in life, everyone wants to grow. Like maybe it's in the form of relationship or work or productivity, everything. And for one to grow, one thing is very important, that's called as focus. And everyone wishes to be better. And I personally experienced this when I changed my life completely in terms of my well-being. I started to sleep better. My retention got better. I was able to think clearly. I was able to experience a better life. At that moment, I didn't understand why, because I just didn't understand the science of it. Can you please help me understand what is the relation of sleep with focus, productivity, or growth in general? Or do they have any relation?
Huge relation. Absolutely. So when we sleep, our body is learning to rest.
Okay.
Right? So when we rest, our body relaxes itself. It feels safer. Now, when we have to focus, you can only focus on one thing if your body or your brain knows that everything else is safe. Okay.
Makes sense.
So if I tell you to focus on me, you can only do that if you or your brain knows that everything else is safe.
Yes.
But if there is a fire in this room,
there'll be
it will be difficult.
Yes.
So when somebody doesn't sleep, their brain thinks that there is fire everywhere. Because lack of sleep leads to anxiety.
Yes.
And when there is anxiety, you cannot focus on one thing. Your brain will keep switching from one thing to another.
Is that what overthinking is?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So lack of sleep leads to anxiety, which leads to overthinking, which leads to behavior that looks like ADHD. So the reason that so many people think, oh, do I have ADHD, is one of the reasons is anxiety and
sleep apnea.
Not sleep apnea, but lack of sleep.
Is that the reason when back in those days, when I would try to sleep, I would just not be able to sleep. I would just close my eyes and then just try hard and sleep. But I would just not be able to sleep because my brain was constantly active. It was just shooting, firing the ideas. And I think by around 2-3 hours, I would then just crash. I think you explained it very well then. Now it makes sense why I was not able to sleep well.
The problem is lack of sleep can lead to anxiety.
Yes.
But anxiety can also lead to lack of sleep.
Okay. It's a reverse loop.
Yes, it becomes like a loop.
Oh,
so
crazy.
Somebody who's anxious, they will not be able to sleep, which makes their anxiety worse. So they cannot get out. It's like a whirlpool, you get trapped.
Now, if I'm in that whirlpool, which I'm sure a lot of people are in, how do I get out of this whirlpool? What should be the first step?
So first of all, take a deep breath. Because whenever we talk about whirlpools, there is no starting point.
Okay,
It's
you
a
can
cycle,
start anywhere.
right?
Yes.
And anywhere you start, it will help the rest of the cycle. So
Okay.
if you stop coffee in the evening, that will also help. Maybe it will help 20%.
But it will help for sure.
Yes. If you reduce your overall anxiety through deep breathing, through pranayama, which has been extremely useful.
Okay, I'll come to
So
that.
many of my patients, I recommend this. That is going to be useful. If you stop scrolling in bed, that is going to be useful. So there are many things you can do, but you should also check if there are other reasons for not getting sleep. You mentioned sleep apnea.
Yes.
So I'll just talk about that. In sleep apnea, there is a problem in your nose and your pharynx, which is the back of your throat, where you're not able to breathe properly. So you're lying down, you're trying to breathe, but not enough air or not enough oxygen is reaching your brain. So over a period of time, sleep gets affected.
Okay.
And even though you are in bed for 8 hours, 10 hours, you wake up feeling not good, you still wake up feeling sleepy, and you wonder why. So sleep apnea is something you should definitely check and get treated, which is apart from treating anxiety and everything else.
You mentioned the idea of breathing, right? This I personally practice it every day. Tell me if I'm doing the right thing or not. By around 9:30, 10, I make sure I call my parents. I do all the, screen thing. I close everything. What I do is then I start reading a book. And it can be any book, depends on the interest I have. Or sometimes I write also. And now the moment I go to the bed, my still brain is still processing whatever's in the book, etc. Like there's still, of course, I don't overthink, but I still have thoughts from the book and from thoughts what my parents said, what the work's happening. They're still in my mind. You mentioned the word, the idea of pranayama, right? So I do different pranayamas. What I simply do is I inhale and then I exhale slowly, and while I exhale, I let go of my body. And one thing that has helped me personally a lot is while I am breathing, the idea will come, oh, that job, my parents, my work, my dad, this. What I do is I take my attention and awareness to my breath. And slowly the thoughts go away. If a thought comes, I just ignore it. I bring my attention back to my breath. And then slowly I don't even realize when I sleep. So
Perfect.
is it nice?
That's exactly what you should be doing.
Oh, thank you.
Step by step, I think you've described the ideal way to sleep. Now, most people sleep without knowing it, or
Yes.
they don't follow any pattern, and those people are very lucky.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
if you are one of those people, you should be very grateful.
I was not. I swear I was not. It would take me at least 2 hours to sleep.
Then you need a tactic like this.
Yes.
Right? So, what you're basically doing is your body and your brain are stressed through the day.
Yes.
Which is normal. Life is stressful.
100%.
But when you get into bed, you have to calm down your brain and your body. So when you said lie like a dead body,
Yes.
that is Shavasana, right? In yoga.
Shavasana.
Shavasana. Shava is sort of like corpse.
Huh.
So you lie like a corpse.
Okay. I didn't know it was a word. Okay.
And the reason this works is because when you're stressed, the muscles in your body are also tight.
Yeah,
Right?
Huh.
But as long as the muscle is tight, that muscle is sending a signal to your brain
Yes.
that you are still in fight,
Makes sense.
right? Like you're still at war.
Yes.
So you have to relax your muscle so that it sends a signal that you can now rest.
Interesting.
Okay. And even the deep breathing is a way to send a signal to the brain that you are safe.
Safe.
Because if you weren't safe, you'll be breathing fast.
Well, that's when you are anxious, you breathe heavy.
Correct.
It's the opposite way.
Correct. The only change that I will recommend to you is don't hold your breath.
Okay.
Never. When you are in bed and you're trying to sleep, don't hold your breath. Just take a deep breath in and immediately let it out.
Nice. Okay.
That pattern is the best way to fall asleep. The third thing that I would suggest, now you don't need it, you already know how to go to sleep, but some people still
Of course.
struggle,
I would love to get better at it.
is something called as fractal imagery.
Interesting.
Basically, what it means is you start imagining a pattern that keeps repeating. Imagine that there is a flower
Huh.
and you're imagining the flower blooming,
Okay.
but inside that flower is another flower,
Okay.
and inside that flower is another flower,
Okay.
and another flower. So you keep going in deeper, deeper, deeper. You could also visualize going down a staircase.
It can be anything.
anything.
Okay.
But just keep imagining that until it stops making sense.
Okay.
And when it stops making sense, don't try to catch it.
Just be with it.
Just let it go.
Okay.
That is how you go from consciousness to sleep. So this is something that I do a lot. In fact, this is very commonly said as counting sheep. If you remember, in in the Western countries, they talk about this a lot. Ki just count sheep.
Okay.
So a lot of comic books and a lot of storybooks talk about this.
I was not aware of this.
Yeah, so counting sheep means trying to go to sleep. So just imagine a sheep on a field and it is jumping across a gate and walking. And then another sheep comes and jumps. And another one comes. And you keep imagining this and you go to sleep.
So this counting technique you mentioned, right? It shifts your awareness from conscious to subconscious, so that you can feel calm and you just fall asleep. This also reminds me about the idea of yoga nidra. They would guide me that, okay, sit like this, breathe like this, take your awareness to this part of the body, that part of the body. They will wander my imagination, and at one point they'll be like, now calm down, now breathe. And then a lot of times what happened is I didn't realize when I shifted from conscious to subconscious and when did I sleep. Does this have anything to do with it? And is yoga nidra actually a good idea? Please.
Absolutely. You should try it. If you are having trouble going to sleep, I would recommend trying yoga nidra. Basically, you cannot be aware of when you go to sleep.
Yes.
This is a oxymoron, right? It's a paradox. You cannot be aware because awareness and sleep are opposite words. As long as you try to be aware of what is going on, what are you thinking of, you will not fall asleep. So the reason that anxious people can't sleep is because anxious people like to control everything. And sleep is a giving up of control.
Okay.
And as soon as you start giving up control, an anxious person will say, no, let me get control back.
Nice.
Because thoughts are going in random ways. Let me bring it back to sensible thoughts.
Interesting.
So you have to learn to let go, and that is when you sleep.
It's very nice how you connected the anxious mind to sleep. The society has transformed in such a way that we don't have no control over our time. What I mean by that is our work demands us to be awake at times that are not technically supposed to be awake. And then we are sleeping at times when we are not supposed to be sleeping. And that has disrupted the rhythm of our brain. It has disrupted our sleep. So I remember this term called as circadian rhythm that is very popular in social media right now. What is this circadian rhythm? Help me understand as if I'm a 5-year-old. Okay.
So circadian rhythm is not a complex thing. It just means that our body is wired to wake up when the sun rises, and when the sun sets, our body is also wired to start slowing down. So that 24-hour cycle is circadian rhythm. So there are hormones in our body that go up in the morning, come down in the evening, sometimes go up again at night. So there is a 24-hour cycle that happens in all our bodies.
100%.
So most of the time that is linked with sunlight, because that is how the brain knows whether it's morning or night.
Yes.
Now, if we are awake at night and if there is a lot of light hitting your eye,
the
your
brain doesn't
can get
know
confused.
It's the day or night.
Right? And so that circadian rhythm ka hormones can get up and down. And that can have problems over a long term. 1 or 2 days, it doesn't matter. Our brain and our body is very resilient. So if you have 1 or 2 days of poor sleep or late sleep, it's absolutely fine. But your baseline, your average night should be a good night's sleep.
Yes.
Right? Then if you want to party once in a couple of months or once in a month also, no issues. But if every night you are sleeping at 4 a.m., waking up at 12,
it disrupts. Yeah.
It can disrupt. So it can lead to anxiety, it can lead to autoimmune conditions, inflammatory problems. Over a period of time, it is increasing the risk. It doesn't mean it will,
but it is increasing the risk.
And life is all about managing that probability.
100%.
So you just want to be on the side of safety.
I think that's why we have this thing called as brain, right? To think what is right for us, to take conscious decisions that are better for us. Interestingly enough, that's a different thought. But when you mentioned about the idea of hormones in the circadian rhythm, there's this hormone called as melatonin. And I see a lot of people having melatonin and they say they should have it. What is melatonin?
Yeah.
Should I actually have it? And is it actually useful? Like genuinely?
Yeah. So melatonin is a natural hormone in the brain. So when light hits your eye, that signal gets transported into your brain, into the pineal gland, And the pineal gland has the responsibility of telling the rest of the brain that, look, there is sunlight, it's time to wake up, right? To be more specific, there's an area called suprachiasmatic nucleus, but we won't go that deep. Melatonin is the hormone that comes up in darkness,
Okay.
that
In the
tells your
darkness.
brain that it is time to sleep.
Huh.
So when you take melatonin, so melatonin levels will go up in the brain.
Huh.
Your brain will think that because melatonin is gone up, that means it is time to sleep.
Okay.
The problem is that if you take melatonin,
Hmm.
but you are in a bright room,
Huh.
light is still hitting your eyes,
Oh, it's like,
so it's not going to work.
yes.
Right? So that is number one. Number two, recently there are some studies that have come out showing taking melatonin for too long can have adverse effects. So people have had more of cardiac problems or heart problems when you take melatonin.
Excessively.
Yes, excessive.
Or for prolonged period of
For
time.
a long time.
Hmm.
So I would say that there are still things we don't fully understand, the risks of taking melatonin for a long time. And if you have to take melatonin for a long time, then please get your sleep problems sorted. Taking melatonin is not the answer. You can take melatonin safely for 1 or 2 days, 1 week, to just shift your sleep cycle. So, for example, when I traveled to America, right, the entire sleep cycle has shifted.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So over there, when I want to tell my brain that, listen, it's night time now,
You use it as a tool.
yes, I'll
Ah.
use melatonin as a tool.
Ah.
So it is a way to talk to the brain, to communicate something important. But you cannot use that as a average sleeping medication.